Richard was quite a hard character to cast because he had to convey quite a wide range of emotion. He had to be stoic at times and convey emotion through his eyes with very minimal dialogue. When I wrote him, I kept taking dialogue out because I wanted him to be this Western anti-hero, mysterious, dark figure. Very little dialogue. So we had to have someone who had that range in body language and face. And the character of Richard was actually cast twice. And both actors who we had cast previously, you know, they just didn't gel with... I suppose they didn't gel with the vision of it. And we were quite desperate at that point because we were like, well, we're going to be shooting in a few months and we haven't cast the lead. So we put out an ad on Star Now, just putting a fishing rod in a big pond and, you know, just seeing who applies. And then James Conrado's picture showed up.
I found the casting call online on a casting portal, and yeah, when I saw it, it sounded pretty interesting because it said it was for a character that was a hitman, and he becomes obsessed with a stripper. And what caught my eye was that the role also required martial arts acting in it, so stage fighting. So I basically applied for it and didn't really think anything of it because I didn't have any expectation of getting the audition or, I don't know, being contacted. I basically applied, and it was probably 2 weeks later that I got an invitation for an audition.
And I'm like, well, he's got a very clean-cut look and he has this boyish charm and good look to him, but I wonder what his show reel was like. So I clicked on his show reel and it was a scene from Law and Order. And by God, the intensity that he just gave out in that scene, I was like, oh, it completely took me back because here is this choir boy looking man and he is just so menacing and threatening on screen.
You counting the little children you've raped and murdered? Is that what you're saying to me? Do you want to walk me through this, you little piece of garbage? Tell me how good you're torturing. Come on, just tell me how good you're torturing those little girls. Should I do to you what you do to those little girls, huh? Should put you in pigtails, you little bitch. Come on, you little bitch, I want you to cry for me. Cry for me!
And that to me was the character of Richard because I'm like, well, this is a quiet killing machine. And if he can do that with this Law and Order scene, I'm like, well, I gotta meet him. Deep down inside, I knew from seeing that one scene that that's the guy I wanted. I as soon as I clicked that link, I cast him straight away in my mind. I was just hoping to show up to the audition. Luckily he did. He auditioned very well with Zoe.
Yeah, I was pretty excited. I was very excited to audition for the role, and the main difference that I experienced during the whole auditioning process was that unlike many other auditions that I've been to, the whole production crew was present at the audition. So we had the stunt coordinator, Alex, we had the producer, Marlene, we had Johnny, the director, we had fellow cast members at the audition, which was a whole new experience for me.
And it was just little mannerisms that got us at the time. It was, we auditioned him with the cafe scene when, you know, they have a bit of an argument. But he was the only one out of the people that auditioned that actually looked around an empty room to make sure that none of the other patrons were listening. And I thought that ability to break through that cone of an audition, that's very impressive, and it shows that he had a lot of forethought.
So Marlene calls me. I had a long day at work and basically got a phone call from her, and she said that, yeah, that they've chosen me to play the character of Richard. And I had to ask her again, so what do you mean? Am I getting a call back or am I coming in for another audition? But she said, no, it's basically yours. The only thing we ask of you is that that you can make the dates and that you can commit to the prep work, which was all that martial arts training that we had to do before we got shooting. Yeah, so I was really pumped about getting the part, and I was really ready to dive right into it.
Yeah, it was just one of those situations where it was just dumb luck on our end, because if we had cast anyone else in this role, it wouldn't have been the same film. So it was just one of those things where the universe smiles down upon you, and it was John meet James, James meet John, and here you go, work together. And James Conrado's dedication, his philosophies and his principles in life are truly inspirational. And it's not just the way he portrayed the character or his method in bringing out a character. It was just him as a person. He's quite humble, and he's a true gentleman. And he just completely blew us all away. And I am forever grateful to James for taking on this role and doing such a great job with it.
Well, I got involved in Dancer through my partner Adele, who plays Ellie in the film. She had done work for Johnny and Marlene previously. And yeah, I think he asked her if I was willing or keen or interested to do the job, and no brainer, I said yes.
Marcus had this look and this intensity to him, and I never met the guy before. I knew his girlfriend Adele through my wife, Marlene. He's a drummer in a heavy metal band, and I thought, well, I'll try my luck and I'll get in contact with him, because he kept popping up on my newsfeed, and I'm like, well, this guy's got such a great look to him. He will make a really good villain.
So Johnny called me about this project, and he was blabbering on for like half an hour. It's amazing, you know, you've written this whole new project, you've got to be involved. And then listening, and then about half an hour later he says, and I've been stalking your boyfriend for the last 3 months. Can he act? Because he needs to play Ronny.
So I met him, and then he just was this most soft-spoken gentleman, and I'm like, well, that showed me a lesson, didn't it? It's like, don't judge a book by its cover. And you know, he just looks like this rough and tough, you know, this burly guy, but he's just this, you know, this teddy bear, this soft-spoken teddy bear underneath. And look, I gave him the script, and I thought, look, why not? You know, I mean, I believed in myself and my abilities enough that I can work with him. I can mold him. And that was a bit naive, but I thought, you know what, I'll give it a go.
Ronny's he's a bad motherfucker, basically. He's very formidable, you know, as smart as he's dangerous. Very cool, calm, collected. Very calculated. He becomes real possessive. He basically wants what's his at all times, and he doesn't make no bones about it.
But he put in so much energy and so much enthusiasm into the fight training, into learning how to deliver his line, into finding this character of Ronny. It was really, really impressive to me to see the length that he would go to in order to not let the production down and be true to the character, be true to the script.
So like I couldn't find a good balance to bring Ronny out, because he's a very complex character. He might seem like, oh, he's a typical badass. He's not. He's a bit more complex than that. He's very mysterious. You don't know where he came from, what his background is. So out of nowhere, I thought about an individual who came across me when I was younger. I used to work club scenes back in the day. And this underworld figure, for some reason, he always stuck with me. His mannerisms, you know, the way he walked into a room, very intimidating. He was striking, tall, built, for some reason he always resonated with me, and I always kept him in the back of my head. I don't know why. So I literally brought him to life through Ronny.
He just dedicated so much. He gave so much of himself to this role, and it comes out on screen because he is menacing. He's just there in your face, and he's just always lurking in the shadows, and he just portrays this duality of calm and this vicious storm that is just wrapped into this one person, and depending on who you are or what day you catch him on, you're gonna get either one of those.
Yeah, like Ronny being so complex and dark, and just you don't know where his head is at, and I needed to get into that mind state for, you know, camera. I'd basically just lock myself away for about half an hour, 45 minutes before it was go time. Had some sort of death metal blasting through my iPod, just pacing back and forth, huffing and puffing. So by the time the scene was there, I'm in a dark place. I'm in, you know, some weird mood, dark energy type vibe, I should say. And that's the type of energy I was tapping into with Ronny.
I'm gonna work with him. I'm gonna make it work with him, and it was a blessing. It was a godsend to us.
Well, I've known Johnny and Marlene for several years now. I worked in another little short film that they had, and Johnny called me and told me about this new project he had written and had started production, and wanted to see if I was interested in it. He thought that I would play the character of Ali quite well, and so we spoke about it over the phone, and we caught up, and after reading the script, I wanted to do it. It was a great script. There was so much to it, a lot for the characters to work with, and that's how it started. With any character, you always want to research. And with this character, I did a lot of research. I'd never really been in a strip club or have friends that are strippers or really understand that kind of world. So for me, the first thing I did was kind of follow strippers on Instagram and kind of see what their world was about. It was very different from one that Ali would be a part of and all those other dancers, because it wasn't just a strip club. There was this whole underworld that was happening as well. So for me, with any character that I play and with all the acting that I've been taught and currently still learn, you always want to portray a little bit of yourself in everything that you do. So with Ali, it was like a journey to kind of find her, because I'm not someone would ever do stripping, so you kind of have to find that kind of character. And I think I found the character though when we got to see the space that we were working in. So the strip club we were working in was very dark, you know, had that dense smell with the carpet, this kind of aura inside, and it was just felt dirty. And so when I finally got to see the space I would be working in, that helped so much, because it feeds you as an actor for your character. And that's when I found Ali, because I just put all them together and you come out with a character. Well, this was the first time Marcus and I had worked together in acting scene before. It was very different. We were very professional about it, and he kind of surprised me a lot with how he worked and how professional he was and how he got into character, so it helped me a lot. The challenges we faced was that we were a couple in real life, so whilst we were rehearsing or doing the actual scene, sometimes it got really intense, and I think we just were so caught up in our characters that it was actually not a challenge in itself, but it was nice to see us working in our characters rather than who we were to each other. And we had to let that go because obviously our scene is full on. It's very intense, there's a lot of violence. And for me, I hate him in the whole film. So yeah, we had to just work around that, and it was fine because we're both professional about it. I mean, yeah, sometimes we're laughing and whatever, but we got through it.
Johnny is great to work with. He was great because first of all, he's a pure gentleman on set. Always very respectful, always thanks people, very polite. But what I enjoyed as an actor, working with him as a director, was that he's a gentle director in a way. So he doesn't force upon you exactly what he wants from the scene, but at the same time he gets you to that place and basically achieves what he wants from the scene.
He wasn't forceful of anything, and just really easy to get along with in terms of where he wanted you to go with your character. And once you tapped into that energy, he'd just tweak you a bit, and then away you go. And it was always a pleasure working with John.
As an actor, we want the opportunity to explore our characters, and a good director will help us achieve that. And Johnny was so good with that. He was one of the best directors that I've worked with because he was able to communicate with us what he wanted, what his vision was, how he wanted things filmed, how he wanted us to kind of portray the character, but it was never how to do it. And that was so important for me because you want to be able to show a side to the character that maybe the director just didn't know existed, and we got the opportunity to do that.
It helped me to work with someone who trusted me and who allowed me to experiment and allowed me to try different approaches, go with my impulses in a way. And it also helped me to embrace the character. The other thing that was great about working with him was that he invested everything into this project. He gave it his every cell of his being. He was fully committed to the cause. And if you work with someone who burns their ships and basically goes into it 100%, there's no option but to do exactly the same from your perspective. So every take, every fight that we did, every rehearsal, everything that required me being involved in this project, I just wanted to do it as fully as possible because he was fully committed to it, and I just wouldn't want to let him down.
Look, as a director, you're really only as good as your crew. You're really only as good as your actors, and I was just fortunate enough to be able to surround myself with people who know their craft, who know their job, and are passionate about it.